and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing 5 reasons of why I love being a little person. Now I know some of you out there are probably wondering, wow, just 5? You don't really have that many reasons why you love being a little person. Well, folks, I have something to tell you here. It's not just 5 reasons, there are thousands upon thousands of reasons of why I love being a little person, but for the sake of your time, and also for the sake of my time, I narrowed it down to 5, so we wouldn't be here all day. But let's go! Also, I just want to let you guys know the first couple reasons of why I love being a little person are more on the comical side and maybe not as meaningful, but I promise towards the end we will be more meaningful and legit with those reasons. And I'm going to go this way actually. Let's go! Reason number 1. I'm really good at limbo and the game hide and seek. Why these 2 activities got picked? Number 1, I had great childhood memories of these games. And number 2, with my size, I was able to dominate, I mean absolutely destroy in these 2 games. So going back to number 1, I had wonderful childhood memories of hide and seek and limbo. Going to limbo, we used to play limbo in music class in elementary school. I don't really know why we played limbo in music class, but we did. And I always remember that I won and was able to claim the best prize because I'd win first, and then I'd be able to keep winning. But I eventually didn't take all the prizes. I'd take one prize, you know, my first win, and then I'd just, you know, be recognized as the winner and then let the prizes go. And then I also remember the kids would always be mad if they were in my music class, because we'd have different kids each year in each music class, and they'd be like, oh, I'm stuck with Dasha. She's going to win every time. And so I remember the teacher, specifically when I was in my music class, they would designate 2 winners because I would always be the first winner. And then whoever came in second was, you know, the winner for, you know, the tall people. They came first in the tall people land. But I just remember having such wonderful memories playing limbo in music class. And then number 2, playing hide and seek. I used to go to this program called After School. It's pretty much in the name. I'd go to it after school because my parents didn't get home in time for me when I got off the bus, and they didn't want, you know, a young kid being home alone. So they would send me to a program where somebody would watch me until they were able to pick me up. And while at after school, we would play, you know, various activities and different games. And, you know, if we were really bored and, you know, didn't want to clean any toys up or anything, we'd play hide and seek. And I always remember I was like, yes, I'm a shoo-in for hide and seek. I was like, yes, I'm so pumped. And the reason why I love hide and seek is because I'm so small, but I also have the brain capacity. I mean, I don't want to say I'm smart or anything, but I have the brain capacity to, you know, think about a really good and unique hiding place. So I remember this one time, they had this huge metal cabinet, not like a filing cabinet, but just like a metal storage cabinet with wheels, and they had a clearance about of a foot from the bottom of the cabinet to the floor. So it was about a foot, and I was like, that is a bomb hiding place if I can fit there. So I remember like laying down, scooching, seeing if I could fit it, and my head is probably about, you know, 9, almost a foot when it's sideways, and so I was just able to squeeze under there, and I was like, nobody is going to be able to find me. So 15 minutes passes and whoever's searching cannot find me at all. He's found all the other people and they just can't find me. And so I finally peeked my head out to the adults and the people that run the after school program, and I was like, psst, yo, I'm down here. And they started busting out laughing. They could not believe that I fit there, and I was like, shh, keep me covered. And so like another 20-minute passes, and you know, the teachers, they keep looking. They're like, okay, you're still there, you're still alive, you're still doing good. And eventually the person looking for me gives up, and I bust out where I'm hiding, and they're so impressed, and everybody is amazed that A, I could fit under there, and B, I thought to even think there. And then after they found me, that was the try to be the cool new hiding spot. Everybody tried to cram their head under, try to fit their tush under there, and try to hide under there. But nobody else was able to fit under the cabinet except for me. So I remember having a wonderful time playing hide and seek at after school. And those 2 reasons are just, honestly, wonderful childhood memories. Reason number 2, small dogs make great dance partners. Good job, Dace. Now, I know if you're thinking, well, I have a big dog and they make a pretty great dance partner too. But they also make a pretty great poop. So that's where the small dog comes in handy. So small people and small dogs, that's reason number 2. And also, if you happen to have a big dog and you're a little person, that just means more protection and also a bigger dog blanket so you can cuddle up and stay warm with them. Moving on to reason number 3. Good job, Daisy. Good job. Here's an extra piece for your problems. Reason number 3 is being more knowledgeable about disabilities just in general. Now, for me personally, being a little person, I've experienced first-handedly all the highs and also all the lows when it comes to having a disability. And I know this is going to sound cliche, but if I didn't have a disability, I honestly feel like I'd be losing a whole new perspective on life. Now, with having a disability, I've gained so much knowledge and so much terminology when it comes to disabilities. Like, I know that there are 1 billion people that, have to overcome and deal with disabilities, whether, it's visible, whether they're, short-statured or in a wheelchair, or, it's not as visible, whether it's, something on the hands of mental health. With this different perspective that I have, I realized and noticed some things that I might not necessarily notice if I was not disabled in average size. Let me give you a couple examples. Example number 1 is when I'm just out and about in general. Sometimes I get stared at more when I was younger. I think it's just I paid attention more when I was younger and it used to bother me more. But now I get stared at and I'm just like, oh, like big whoop-de-doo. But I know for me personally, if I do see somebody else that's disabled, I'm automatically intrigued. That's just human instinct. When somebody's different, you want to check them out, you want to notice, and you want to figure out, what's wrong with them or why they look like that. And I know for me personally, if I do see somebody different, I'll glance and I'm like, oh, okay. They're in a wheelchair, maybe move over, make sure they have extra room, or, make sure, not to stare at them because, if you get stared at, you get uncomfortable, you don't like it, so if you're the one doing it, they're definitely uncomfortable and not wanting that also. And just in general, when it comes to, like, parking in a parking lot, I know that you need to have a handicap tag, and, if you don't have a handicap tag, there's no need for you to be parking in a handicap spot because you're taking somebody's spot that has a wheelchair and they need appropriate room and the right amount of room to be able to get out of their wheelchair and, get in and out of their car with ease. Also, when it comes to handicap parking, that spot might not necessarily be for a person in a wheelchair. It also might be somebody, example, that might be short-statured, that gets tired walking very long distance. And I know when I am parking in a handicap spot, I'm not just, taking advantage and be like, ooh, I got front row. Sometimes I do need it. Sometimes, my legs are tired and, they're in pain. And sometimes, it's really busy and it might be dark outside. And I don't want to have to walk the whole parking lot having to risk, somebody backing up into me since I'm not as tall and noticeable in a parking lot. So I park closer to the entrance so I have less chance of getting hit. Just in general, when it comes to handicap parking, it might not necessarily be just for wheelchairs. It might be for somebody, that has, struggle and pain being able to get to point A to point B. Another example might be when people have to go to the hospital a lot. I know back when I was younger, I had to go to the hospital a lot for, checkups and to get surgeries done to, fix my joints, my bones, to make everything move and work properly on me. And I know when people say, oh, I have to go to the doctors, they tell their friend, I have to go to the doctors next week, I have to go to the doctors, and the week after, and da-da-da. And, you might start thinking, why do they have so many problems? They might have to get, weekly checkups or whatever the case may be. It's just keep an open mind when people have to go to the hospital or to the doctors a lot. And another example that gets into more details are lots of programs for people with disabilities, whether it's, financial support, emotional support, or, combined together. And I know a program that I've used and heard of is OVR. They help you get a job, they help you seek out things, they help you financially, they help you, whatever you might need when it comes to your disability. That is going to wrap it up for reason number 3. I try to keep it short and simple, but I know this is such a broad and complicated topic, so I definitely know I did not get all the points when it comes to disability knowledge and disability awareness. I just try to give you a couple personal examples of, what I've noticed when I have a disability, when it's something simple as coming to, getting stared at, or, signing up for programs that do help people with disabilities, whether it's financially, emotionally, or both. So I'm just trying to say that, maybe somebody who doesn't have a disability wouldn't necessarily, know all the programs or the struggles when having a disability. But we're going to be moving on to another reason. Reason number 4 is I think being a little person is a fun challenge. And now to dive in a little deeper with that, I mean, whether it's something simple like reaching something on the counter, I have to do about 3 or 4 extra steps than somebody who's average size. You know, somebody who's average size, they just have to, you know, go over to the counter, pick it up, and, you know, mission complete. But for me, you know, I have to, you know, figure out where it is on the counter, move the stool, you know, and then maybe try to keep stretching and reaching. So it's really not that complicated, but I still think it's interesting on, you know, how many extra steps and different ways I have to go about just normal and daily tasks. Also, when it comes to being a little person, I think it's fun and interesting when it comes to self-exploration. I know for me personally, right now, I'm in this weird, awkward stage of, you know, just starting college, and, you know, they want you to figure out what your major is. They also want you to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and honestly, for me, I have no idea what the answer is. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, but I do know one thing that has helped me, guide me, and steered me toward my end path, and that is being a little person. And now I'll give you a little context to that. When I was younger, I mean, this still is the case here, but when I was younger, I loved sports. I always dreamed about, you know, being a sports star, you know, whether it was basketball, baseball, whatever the case may be. I always dreamed about doing something sporty, and I still love sports to this day. It's just I don't ever pursue sports. When it comes to sports, I did finally figure out that for me to be able to pursue sports, I would have to figure out an alternative route, whether that would be, you know, a modified league or, you know, a little people group in general, which is triple DA. And I just figured, you know, I'm all about competition. I don't want to change or modify anything. And so I figured, you know, I think sports is just not for me. And so I figured out, you know, that I can't do sports. I love them. I can still, you know, engage with them and watch them and be an active and passionate fan, but I just wasn't able to do it. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Yada, yada, yada. And so I was trying to, you know, figure out my strengths, my weaknesses, and I figured out that when I was starting middle school, that I was pretty good at public speaking and doing speeches and making videos like this one. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good video, but people told me that I was, you know, very charismatic and open and sometimes sounded pretty good when I would do a speech. So I was like, okay, I think I can pursue this and stick with it. So I did forensics when I was in middle school, and, you know, I did lots of speeches, and the school wanted me to do speeches and poems, and so I figured out that my disability, I'm not being able to do sports. You know, it's cool. I still love sports, but it got me onto the route of public speaking and making videos and just being an open person when it comes to speaking. So with being a little person, it did create a challenge of, you know, what I want to do, what are my hobbies, you know, what I like to do. But it also helped me figure out that I really am very passionate about public speaking and doing speeches and creating videos. So being a little person is a very fun challenge. It's great to help you, you know, self-explore and just do daily tasks that normal people might not have to think or necessarily worry about. But I think it's fun and it's always interesting, and you never know what's going to happen. Moving on to the last reason. Last but not least, we have reason number 5, and that is being a little person is my identity and my label, and I wouldn't want to trade it for anything. Let's dive deeper into that. When you're born, you're automatically given an identity and labels whether you want to or not. Whether it's something simple as your age and gender, or something a little more complicated like what you're really good and skilled at. Now for me personally, my identity is being known as the short person and the little person, and that goes pretty much anywhere and anybody that I meet. Whether it's, you know, in my hometown, whether I'm on the college campus, or something simple as the grocery store. You know, say I'm at college and they'll be like, oh yeah, have you seen Dasha today? Or did you ever talk to Dasha? And they'll be like, kind of heard the name. I mean, it's already kind of a different name. Kind of heard the name. Oh, is she that really short person? And they'll be like, yeah, that's her. And so that is my label and my identity, and I would never want to trade it for the world. That's how I'm known by. I don't want to be, you know, Dasha that's known for, you know, really good at volleyball, because if, you know, you look on a volleyball team and you don't know what I look like, you know, you might think, oh, that's Dasha, or that could be Dasha, or that could be Dasha. But when you say Dasha, the really short person, bam, it's pretty easy to pick out me. I'm 3'1", I'm an adult, it's smack dab center. I'm screaming obvious identity. And so I think it's so much fun to be different and unique and just have a different identity, and to be able to share it with you guys and just experience the world a little bit different than what everybody else does. When it comes to my identity, aka being a little person, sometimes I get asked, would you want to change yourself and be average size? And the answer is always a hard N-O. No, I can't even imagine being average size. Like, I'm so used to the daily life of being a little person, you know, having to move a stool to reach something, or having to ask somebody to get something down from a high shelf. I just can't even imagine just walking over and boop, boop, and done. Like, I feel like that's like too simple and too easy for me. I just really can't imagine it, but I think it'd be fun for maybe like a day. I would do all the things I can't do as being a little person. Like, I'd play basketball, I'd mainly do sports. Like I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of sports, so I'd probably try all the sports out. I'd maybe, you know, reach some super high things and then be like, this is kind of fun. But being a little person is way more fun and way more interesting, and it's just fun to say. When I started college, everybody was like, you know, say a fun fact about yourself, and I was like, well, I can bend my finger, you know, back to my hand, and also I'm 3'1" and I'm a little person going to college, so, you know, that's pretty interesting, and it's a fun fact, and it's my identity. I would never want to change it. I think it's so much fun being a little person, dealing, you know, with the ups and downs and just the fun challenges that this world has to bring. And that is reason number 5. No, I would never want to change my height. I love it. I can't imagine myself being tall, and I just love being a little person. That has been 5 reasons of why I love being a little person. Just a quick little recap. First, we had limbo and hide and seek. Second of all, we had small dogs with little poops. Honestly, just kind of thought it was fun to do and say. Third, we had, it gave me more knowledge about disabilities in general. Fourth, being a little person is a fun challenge. And 5, it's my identity, and I wouldn't want to trade it for anything else. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember, you can conquer all, whether small or tall. See you at the next one.